I can guarantee that there are thousands of editors, thousands of animators, thousands of motion graphics designers, thousands of visual designers in Nigeria who would obviously want to work on something like this. And you'll be surprised how good they are. It's just literally the opportunity.
Welcome to Melia Cred Conversations with Elvis. I'm Elvis Melia, and at Melia Cred we provide consultancy and research for economic development. And in our consultancy and in these conversations, I seek to understand a bit better what the internet is doing to global labor markets from the vantage point of young workers from the global south in general and from sub-Saharan Africa in particular. Can the internet open up avenues to career development, to skills development, to income opportunities that hitherto were closed off to many people in the global south? How much of this is real and how much of this is maybe exaggerated by pundits like myself? And where it's real, what are examples of it? And where it's not real, what are examples of that? Currently, I'm in a cluster of conversations from Kigali, Rwanda, and those conversations are mostly about global business services coming to Kigali, setting up business process outsourcing, call centers, contact centers, serving global markets from Kigali. Now, this conversation is a bit of an interlude. It's with a Nigerian filmmaker, Hassan Tha Kreator. I met Hassan during my conversation with Adewale Yusuf, which we taped in Alt School's Media Lab. And Hassan helped me after that with my camera set up around Norskin. I've always been fascinated by the phenomenon of Nigerian filmmaking, in the sense that the overlap between the digital labor market, the online work economy, and the creative economy could lead to new areas of career development in global labor markets. Now, in our first conversation with Professor Willy Lerambirta at Oxford, we discussed a finding that online workers are initially often judged as a group by their location, but as they gain good reviews on the online labor platforms, clients come to them and discriminate them less than they otherwise would have based on their location. Workers on online labor platforms are more seen as individuals once they grow a standing on these online labor platforms, once clients can see that they're good at what they do due to past ratings. I'm bringing this up because in the creative economy, I have a hunch that content creators need not collect 1,000 reviews of their work. All they need to do is put out one good video, one good piece of art, and a knowledgeable audience will see what's behind that piece of work. That I find fascinating in the sense that Nigeria's film industry, as you'll hear in our conversation, has a lot of people working in that industry day in and day out who may be able to also lend those skills to other endeavors outside of Nigeria through online labor platforms, which many are already doing, but in new forms. So with that, I hope you enjoy the conversation with Hassan as much as I did. Here is Hassan Tha Kreator. Hassan.
Yes, Hassan.
Thanks for doing this.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy and glad to be here. Finally, yeah.
Yeah, finally we're doing this.
Yeah.
So we met a few days ago.
Yeah.
I did the interview with Adewale Yusuf.
Yes, definitely.
In your studio.
Yes.
And that got me curious.
Okay.
Who you are, what you're doing here. You're also not from Rwanda.
Yeah, I'm not from Rwanda. Yes.
Where are you from?
I'm actually from Nigeria, actually. I'm a Nigerian. I'm just here visiting Rwanda. I think I came here like a month ago. I just came here to, obviously see this place for the first time. And Like, I really like this place a lot. I think it's very quiet, it's peaceful, everybody's fun, everybody's helpful here, and it's just been an amazing experience for me. So I had to just renew my visa to stay another month. I don't know, I hope to be here maybe next year for a longer period, but this is a very nice place for me.
Right. So you're originally you're from Nigeria.
Yes, I am from Nigeria.
And you're a filmmaker.
Yes, I am a filmmaker. Yes.
So how do you, or what would you call your profession? Or how would you describe what you do on a daily basis?
Well, good question, because I don't know. Some people like to call me a cinematographer or videographer or something as that, but I don't think I'm that. I think I'm purely a concept filmmaker, actually, because the kind of films I make are not, apart from normal shooting interviews and normal courses and stuff like that, I make fantasy films, I make films on sci-fi films, actually. I'm also a visual effect artist too, and all that. So I think I am more of a concept filmmaker. So I tell stories with films and stuff like that, using concepts like maybe a civilization in a sink-like area, maybe, you know, just some crazy stuff like that. That's what I do. Yeah.
So we always hear about Nollywood,
Okay.
right? We always hear about Nigeria's Hollywood, Bollywood, Nollywood, right?
Yeah.
That's the third big cluster to me.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, did you grow up in that sector, or how did you get into it? Are you in the middle of that?
Okay.
Tell us a bit about your relationship with that whole cluster of filmmaking in is it in Lagos?
Yeah, it's more of in Nigeria in general. Okay, Nollywood is like, I think, the second largest, biggest movie producing company in the world in terms of content, not money, actually. It's like, because they're always churning out content, and in Africa, literally everybody watches Nollywood. Any country you go to in Africa, they've literally seen Hollywood. Yeah. So it's more of, yes, personally, I got into Nollywood at a very early age. I think like when I was like 16, I was in Nollywood, but I think I've left now because the kind of films I like to make are not the kind of films they make. They like to make this whole family-oriented dramas,
like soap operas, right?
Soap operas, relationships, stuff,
yeah.
And less of sci-fi, less of action, less of stuff like that. So that's literally what I'm doing now. That's what I want to do. So I had to leave to really focus on that. It's not been easy because it's more of like leaving your comfort zone, just getting a set and getting cameras and just, okay, fine, this is the script. You guys will just probably be indoors throughout shooting the whole thing. It's kind of boring and lazy, because I want to be able to make films where I'm in nature, maybe, shooting outside, people are running, people are chasing, the car is flying off the road and stuff like that. That's the kind of film I want to make. So currently this is my first year out of Nollywood, though, my first year out of making generic Nollywood films. It's been crazy though, but I don't know. I think you have to take risks to get somewhere, right? So that's what I'm doing right now.
So you learned the craft there in the soap opera field,
yes, exactly.
And now you're going into. But there aren't others like you within that genre. I would think that if there's probably others who think, well, I'm sick of soap operas.
Okay.
I'd like to do sci-fi.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you kind of leading that way, or is there others that you're collaborating with, or is everybody kind of going their own way?
The Nollywood industry is very, very. Everybody's quite personal with their stuff. If someone is making waves in the Nollywood industry, doesn't want to, associate with other people because it's very competitive. Everybody wants to have the highest grossing film and stuff like that. But I think I've made a few, because my film, Bailiwick, I did it recently. It was a short film. It was was in a festival recently, RenderCon. It's a visual effects and animation festival. It's very, very big in Nigeria and in Africa in general. So my film was there, and I wasn't in Rwanda when my film was there. So I was getting like calls, okay, I saw your film and stuff like that. Like people whose films were in the festival. So I think there's always that where people would obviously want to meet you when they see your work and stuff like that. But you don't really know because Nollywood is not like where you have an industry. It's scattered. Everybody has a production studio. They just have the name Nollywood. So unlike Hollywood, where Hollywood is a place, there's nothing like that. Nollywood is not a place.
It's not a quarter of. It's not a part of Lagos.
It's not a part of Lagos. It's more of it's just a name.
Right.
But the major production studios like Ant Hill, Ebony Life, and some other those ones they have like huge spaces where those are the top dogs in Nollywood. So they make the major films, the Netflix films, the Amazon films, the cinema films. Even Black Panther, coming into Africa, like they had to come to Nigeria first because obviously Nollywood is there. So they had to come to Ebony Life Studios. So that's where the whole stars were. So those are the top studios in Africa in general.
All right. Yeah. So you came to Kigali. How did that happen? Tell me the story about why you're in Kigali now.
Okay, I was in Ghana recently though. So I was in Ghana, then I just went back to Nigeria. Then I was like, okay, fine. I think I had my friends here. We're like, okay, fine. Would you like to come to to Rwanda for just quickly to see the whole place is and how the place is and everything. They know you mentioned Adewale. They were like, Hassan, yo, come to Rwanda and see the office and stuff like that they have here and everything. Okay, fine, cool. Who knows? Might be an adventure for me. So I got here and I got here and the whole thing and everything went really well for me. The immigration officers were really nice. Everybody, the police officers who helped me when I was trying to find my way to the apartment were really extremely nice. And it's been a really, really amazing experience for me coming here.
How is that for a Nigerian from Lagos moving to Kigali?
Wow, I know people must have heard about Nigeria already and the whole hustle that happens in Nigeria with the bad sides and the good sides, with the whole things with the whole insecurity stuff and the rest. But Nigeria is quite noisy. It's quite stressful, and the police officers are not as nice. They always profile a lot. I know that happens in the US too, but in Nigeria, obviously they profile us a lot. A young person, if you're a young person making waves, driving a car, having big phones like the iPhones and stuff like that, you'll be profiled as a young person. So compared to what we have in Nigeria, though, Rwanda is actually an amazing place to be in for me, actually. Yeah.
So I find this fascinating how these, different countries are obviously, so they have such different pros and cons,
Definitely,
right? So Rwanda is so tiny, right?
Exactly.
And it's not really, so if we're looking at bringing an industry out of Africa, this collaboration between a huge, messy place like Nigeria and a tiny, tidy place like Rwanda, that combination can really lead somewhere. Like you maybe bringing some of the talent here and bringing some of the, not just in your industry, talent means in front of the camera, right?
Of course,
what I meant is the people who know their
behind
stuff.
the camera, okay, cool.
Yeah, and kind of work in a more predictable environment in a place like Kigali, right? I find that exciting to have these collaborations across.
It would be nice because I really would love to do that next year. We'd love to do a lot of that next year because let me just say in Lagos, you can't just yank out your camera and make a video. Because of, I really don't want to go into politics because I don't really care about that much about other stuff, but you know how the government treats the younger people. I don't know, there's no opportunity for young people in Nigeria, so that's why you find more crime because they're not doing anything and stuff like that. So when you yank out your camera or something like that, the boys on the streets will come, okay, fine, yo, you need to pay me for this. So it's not a very comfortable thing for a filmmaker like me.
So much,
I can't concentrate. Bailiwick, the last film I did in Nigeria was very stressful for me because I was supposed to shoot outside, and when I brought out my camera, they just came out of the street, okay, fine, you have to do this, you have to do this, so you have to start paying a lot of people money that obviously just for you to have an experience, so it's always very, very stressful for you, and when you do that, those are not people you should even be paying. You're just paying them so they don't break your equipment. Do you understand me? So it is actually a very, very stressful place to shoot in for me. But obviously, if you have like security and stuff, that will be fine. But Rwanda here, I've made some short videos with my camera and stuff like that. It's literally been amazing. Like nobody has your time. Nobody cares about anything. You can just bring out your camera. And like how we're shooting now, you can do this in some places in Nigeria. They might just come out from nowhere and be like, yo, they always call it or something, there's a name they call it. It's money for what you're doing. Do you understand me? So personally, I would love to come back here to see how I can collaborate with creatives here and see how we can make films together with the help of the government. Hopefully, maybe if I get to that stage. And, just obviously, I don't know. I've never heard about the Rwanda film industry before, to be honest. But the movie I shot here, I made a fantasy film here. but it's not a Rwandan film. It's a South African themed film. But I made it here, and I've been having like people on Instagram telling me, okay, fine, I like what you're doing, from Rwanda actually, that yo, like, let's do something together. When are you making your next film? I want to be with your stuff. I want to learn from your stuff. So I feel it's something that if I come here maybe next year, prepare with maybe my team or something in Nigeria, we might make something out of this place and maybe try to see how we can help them here and also help ourselves and help the African cinema improve the movie scene in Rwanda and Africa in general.
Right, right. I mean, I'm a lay person, but there's a lot because of Rwanda's history.
Okay.
There's a lot of well, I don't want to say a lot nothing a lot compared to Nigeria, but there's a bit of a cluster of documentary filmmaking here, right? Due to the events in the past, so it's it might be an interesting connection. When you were talking, I just felt like I guess I've never been to the army, but they say there's soldiers who've been to war, and soldiers who haven't been to war, right? Kind of that's the saying, you've earned your stripes, right? I'm just thinking, someone like you who's shot movies in Nigeria is probably not going to get nervous about anything shooting a movie here, because you've seen everything, right?
Of course, definitely. Yeah, I've literally seen. I've seen everything. Well, I've not literally seen the crazy ones where. It gets crazy where militias are coming with guns. I don't think I've been there before, but I think the harassment parts of like the police officers, like, oh, you can't shoot here, you can't shoot here. I know it happens here too. There's some places you can't shoot or bring out your camera or something like that. And maybe the government house areas, I don't know, but in Nigeria, for example, like, why you cannot shoot here? You can't shoot here. Why? Okay, there's no reason. You live here. Maybe some of them might be very physical with everything and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think this place has issues in terms of that aspect. I think everybody would be willing to help you here and make videos and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess that's
if you do get a permit, to shoot somewhere, that's the thing. Like, it's not you get a permit in many countries. You get a permit from one government agency, and then somebody local says, no, actually that's not enough. We also need something else, right?
Exactly.
That doesn't happen in Rwanda.
It doesn't. Exactly my point. In Nigeria, getting the permit is different, Like, it's just a paper. They don't care. Like, you still have to pay the people on the streets. Even if they see police officers, they won't still let you shoot. They're like, okay, I want my own share of the money. You pay the girl, because the permits, you still have to pay for those permits. And while paying for those permits, you still have to pay the person who's gonna make it. Nigeria is just filled with so much corruption stuff, so it's very stressful in general. Yeah.
So would you be able to use this environment? You've been here a while now, you've seen different places. I know everything is hilly here in Rwanda, but would you be able to use this environment or parts of it to, if say somebody from the West were to come and wanted to shoot something, to create an environment that it looks like something else, right? For example, recently there was a show on Apple about Tehran, right? And they shot that somewhere else because it was an Israeli show playing in Iran, right? So they had to shoot. I forget where they said they shot it, but they couldn't shoot it in Tehran, of course. But they had to try to make it look like that. Would that be like something if you could like shoot a movie here that is supposed to be playing in another African country? Make it look like that. That'd probably be easy for you.
Yeah, that would probably easy, but it just depends on getting the right team, I guess, because production designing is like the apex of the film production. I know obviously people would argue with me about that, because building a world is very hard in terms of like, I think there was a scene in Captain America where he was in Lagos in Nigeria, and they didn't shoot it in Nigeria. They shot it in a beauty set and everything, and it looked like Nigeria. So it's more of like, it's for someone to pull that off, it's really, really, really going to be more expensive and harder than coming to make that here. It's going to be cheaper coming to make it here though, because you already have the stuff already, you already have the scene, the environment already, so they don't need to create anything. So
like any safari scene, if it's safari in Rwanda or Tanzania or Kenya or South Africa, it doesn't matter. You can shoot that here.
Of course,
You've got the big animals in the back.
Of course, definitely, yes. So it's going to be easier and stuff like that. But most times, maybe the plan part in terms of the animals and stuff like that, making them what to do. Visual effects is best for that, because it's like telling a lion to move on a straight line. It's a lion. It does, like, if you go to a safari and the lion is behind you, you can't control the lion to do what you want it to do. So that's where the visual effects part comes up, where you just create the animals in post-productions and stuff like that. That's just it.
Right. So that's it for in front of the camera. But we talked about a little bit about in the BPO industry, we call it back office work.
Okay.
The work that's not going directly to the client. So I guess there's. Can you do work? Can you imagine doing work from here, or I guess also from Nigeria, for clients, say in the global north, who would need an intermediary like yourself to distribute work that could potentially be done at a better price point than people in their home countries they would find people. So for example, what did we talk? We talked about video editing, right?
Okay.
So that has nothing to do with shooting.
Okay.
Somebody else does a movie, they send it down here and they edit it. That's kind of the business model of the global business services industry, the business process outsourcing, like call centers. Of
course, yes.
But there's also not just calls, there's also back office work, right? Like editing, image annotation, image editing, right? When we kind of mix that with the creative economy, right? I find that fascinating because you have so many creative people in Nigeria in your ecosystem that also people who are up and coming who are looking for side jobs. Do you think there's a business model in going forward having someone like yourself as an intermediary to outsource work from the global north to a place like Nigeria where younger people could use that as a side income?
Yes, that is like 100% possible because I would say that I think I have a circle of, there's a large network of editors and creatives in Nigeria that literally would obviously want to jump on something like this. And I think maybe, I don't know, in terms of how other people, how this business works. I don't know how it works in terms of that aspect, but I can guarantee that there are thousands of editors, thousands of animators, thousands of motion graphics designers, thousands of visual designers in Nigeria who would obviously want to work on something like this. And you'll be surprised how good they are. It's just literally the opportunity, Most times, the opportunity is literally everything, The kind of opportunity I had as a filmmaker coming up, I would say I would literally not say I literally was lucky, but I know I definitely worked hard for it. But the kind of opportunity I had literally was based on my skill and literally what I can do and how quickly I can get something done, how disciplined I was, That literally got me, or maybe like when I was on like some other stuff from productions I've done, like Nigerian television, like some stuffs I've done. I don't really want to mention names, but working on Big Brother and some other stuff too, like that was literally obviously based off my skills, and I've met people like that who had also not had that kind of opportunity. So I literally won't say I was lucky, but I'll just say maybe literally, it's maybe not. I don't know, maybe they're working hard enough, but I can just say that there are a lot of people who can literally do better than I do in Nigeria, who don't have the kind of opportunities I have. So if you really want to churn out that aspect of what you're saying, it's gonna be so easy, trust me. Just by putting an ad, okay, fine, I need editors for this particular stuff, it's the amount of money I'm gonna be paying out. You have thousands of people you can even pick from, checking their portfolio and stuff like that. So yes, that can work.
Do you have colleagues or do you have friends that already do that kind of stuff, like on an online labor platform like Upwork or Fiverr?
Okay, it's not that. It's not. I don't think there's like a place here, but it's more of a social media place because I think I have about 12,000 followers on Instagram, and majority of my followers are literally editors and stuff like that who like my stuff.
Okay.
So it's just all about posting on my social media. I'm like, okay, fine, I need this. And
so you would be then the go-between. You would be like that channel between. Yeah. Do you have colleagues who are already doing that? Like do you know of anyone who's already doing that on an online labor platform, like an online work platform, like Upwork?
I literally won't say. I know people. I know voiceover artists. I know writers. But I don't really know about editors yet.
Really?
It probably should exist though, but I really, obviously based on the people I know, so I can't really just speak about people I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Interesting.
I don't know about editing, but me personally, some of the animation jobs I do, I've obviously been through this platform where there's someone who's okay, fine, I'm going to be the intermediary for you and this person. Okay, fine, this is my friend maybe in China or something looking for an animator, and this is what we have. Can you do this for this amount of money? Okay, sure. So that's literally it. Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the tasks that you could think off the top of your head. So editing, animating.
Editing, animating, motion graphics, and maybe visual design. I guess.
So that's all the kind of stuff that you could, like I could upload that to Google Drive
Okay.
and send you a link and ask
course.
you to work on it. And then what you do, obviously, is send it on to a younger person
course,
to
yes.
work on so that there's a margin there, right?
Of course,
So-
definitely, yes. And I'm all about like I wouldn't say I'm like maybe extremely rich, but I don't really know. I don't think I'm always more bothered about money most times. I'm literally more about helping people who need opportunities, like because I knew what it felt like for me to want to go into film, like because in Nigeria you have to go to school. It's extremely compulsory. School is like literally everything you should do. Your parents don't care about this filmmaking part of whatever, you have to go to school. So imagine like wanting to have an opportunity like this, or maybe as a filmmaker, you literally know it doesn't exist. So most times I'm literally all about, because I literally know how these young editors feel when they don't have opportunities. You have the skill, you don't have the opportunity to, show your skill or to make money. So I'm literally fine with that, like obviously if opportunities come, finding to somebody to get it done to get it done, yeah, sure, no problem, I'm fine with that too.
Right. I want to ask you a question that might be hard.
All right.
How do you feel about opportunities versus the kinds of skills you may have?
Okay.
And what I'm talking about is trust, global trust.
All right.
So certain countries have certain images.
All right.
In the global north and around the world.
Of course, yeah.
And of course some of that is justified and some of that is not justified.
Okay.
For you as a creator,
All
as an artist who makes these products,
All right.
how are you dealing with that? If you're working from Nigeria and you think you could serve a certain segment in the world, but there are these obstacles.
Okay. Okay, I think that's a very good question. I think we always have that question a lot in Nigeria most times because, I think your public image matters a lot in anything you're doing, and I wouldn't say the whole email scam part is obviously known to just Nigeria alone. Most European countries, like the thing is happening in Qatar, for example, with the whole, everybody likes to blow things out of proportion because I think the percentage of people who do those online scams thingy, like, there are not a lot in Nigeria, trust me. But, obviously, from few experiences, the ones that shimmy loud is going to be blown out of proportion then and stuff like that, But I think Nigeria is the largest country in Africa. So in terms of numbers, I think there's almost about, almost 200 million people in Nigeria, and
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Because
Yeah.
Lagos alone, which is a state in Nigeria, has more population than Rwanda as a country already. That's just Lagos.
Yeah.
And Nigeria has 36 states, including the FCT, making it 37. So that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
So so obviously most people would obviously be. Would obviously experience some Nigerians literally everywhere in the world. I'm pretty sure you'll probably meet a Nigerian somewhere, anywhere in the world. Even here too, you've met me in other countries, you probably meet another Nigerian. So you get different type of characters, And Nigerians like to hustle a lot because it's more like India, for example. You know how population is in India too. You have this kind of things in India. In India, you have the smartest people in India. You also have the scammers in India too, because that's a lot of people, Everybody willing to do anything. That's how Nigeria is too. You have smart people in Nigeria, a lot of smart people in majority, even in literally the US Senate, you find a lot of Nigerians. In the UK, you find a lot of Nigerians there who migrated over to those countries. So it's more of these people exist, the talent exists, but the bad ones keep obviously making the bad names for us, and those countries will obviously blow out of proportion. But personally, it's a huge issue for me too, because there are times when I've been working on stuff and they find out I'm Nigerian and it goes cold, because obviously their experience with Nigerians has ruined their trust in other Nigerians. So,
or even just their expectation.
Exactly.
Like not the experience, but the rumors.
The rumor, exactly. The rumors, like obviously we also have rumors that okay, fine, people from these countries are like this, people from these countries are like this. You understand? So that thing also affects everything. So I think it's just based on people, the Nigerians who put Nigerians on the map. I think that works. There's some Nigerians like someone I know personally, Tayo. I don't know if you know his videos. he makes those videos, he tries to portray Africa in the light. Like, for example, they might say Nigeria is a hard place to be in, terrorism is crazy, but it's not that way. Like, it's not that way. For me, it's not that way. Trust me, because I stay in Lagos, so I've literally not even seen something like that before, but I don't know how it is in some other places though. Me too, I also hear rumors and news, not like I was there. So this guy would go to those places to check it to see it for himself, and it's never like that. It's never how the media paints it out to be. So I think the best way, we need people like that, more creators like that, who would keep doing good things, who are trustworthy, obviously there are a lot of trustworthy people in Nigeria, and Nigeria is actually a very religious country. It's not these things hardly happen. Like, people are very moral minded. Everybody wants to be good. People want to help you out and stuff like that. But obviously there are obviously going to be bad people in some other areas. So those are the people who are in the limelight most times and stuff like that. Obviously the bad government we always have, who always makes it hard for everybody in Nigeria. So I think that's just literally it. But I feel more people, more Nigerians, or let me just throw it out there, more Africans should just, despite the knowledge the world, the Western world knows whatever they do, they should keep, doing the good stuff they do and keep showing these people that, okay, fine, it's not as bad as you think, Personally, even coming to Rwanda, watching Hotel Rwanda, seeing the genocide that happened here, I was like scared, like, whoa, what am I coming to do here? Is it going to happen? But no. I had to come to see for myself, to be sure. Yeah. Although it might end, obviously I'm taking a risk to come here to see for myself, and the risk paid off. It's not that way here. So I think that's the kind of thing that should happen more. People should see things for themselves and experience things for themselves before they judge.
Hassan, thanks so much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So cool.
Good.